Thank you very much. It's difficult to speak after such people and such performance. Your Excellency Charles Séverin, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Séverin, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Foreign Affairs and Information Technology, Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, Speaker of the House of the Assembly, Your Excellency Dr. Nicola Liverpool, former President and Mrs. Liverpool, Your Excellency Elwood Williams, former President and Mrs. Williams, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Port, and Mrs. Blackmore, honor members of Cabinet and spouses, Your Excellencies, colleagues, members of the diplomatic corps and spouses, Honorable Calvert Daru Parliamentary Representative, St. Joseph Constituency, Ambassador Steve Farrell, Secretary to Cabinet and Mrs. Farrell, Mr. Kendall Johnson, Acting Permanent Secretary Public Works, Energy and Ports, other permanent secretaries and spouses, Father Vanti Auguste, Dr. Lennox Sonic Church, staff of the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports, Mr. Raja, representative of the French Agency of Development, Mr. Nizar, Honorary Consul of France, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. Well, it is for me a great pleasure to be here among you this afternoon with the Director of the Agency of Development and the Honorary Consul, and also my wife. By the fact, it is not so frequent that an ambassador who supports a bigger project like this one had the chance to inaugurate it, to opening it. When I arrived here a year ago, I couldn't imagine an instant that I would be able to opening it so soon. That's why I was a little bit surprised when I had the information a month ago. Because if this rehabilitation lasted a very long time, since 10 years, according to the many geological difficulties, 16 bridges, for example, particularly the landslides, but also consequence of the beautiful landscape of this country of Dominica that crosses this road. That's the reason why there were many steps before this opening today. French Development Agency, in collaboration with the government of Dominica, of course, worked hard, and everybody finally succeed. Of course, it has cost much money, 35 million euros, 26 from the French Agency of Development, 9 from Dominican's government. But I am convinced that this huge amount will bring more income for the economic development of Dominica. Less than 1 hour to join the airport to the capital allows Dominica to offer a much better prestation to the tourists than now. However, this road, which is basic infrastructure, will boost the tourism sector. 72,000 inhabitants in Dominica, but 820,000 passengers and tourists coming to Dominica. But the other reason why I am happy to be here this afternoon, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. President, is that this project is completely part of our common history of a specific cooperation. As you know, Dominica was half English and half French, has a common language with France, Creole. Unfortunately, I don't speak Creole, otherwise I would have spoken Creole to you, of course. And belongs to Francophonie. Hello to Mrs. Akpa that I see there. As only just 2 other countries belong to Francophonie. So Dominica is part of heart of France, you know, very important for us. That is why our both countries have special ties. That's why we used to sustain your development since the independence, such as all the historical countries which with French had launched such a particular and original relationship. France in Dominica is here beside you to be a real partner in your economic, cultural, education, health, politics, and many other original cooperation. Since we started it, since about 36 years ago, because I will be with you the day after tomorrow for the independence, I'm very happy to be there, we always put us the question, what can the French government is able to do to accompany Dominica for such a long time? The purpose is to settle project in the duration according to the real needs of the country. It would be too long to enumerate all the history of our cooperation, but Dominica has many testimony of it on different fields. For example, I was always moved when I came here and looked at the pier built by French cooperation for welcoming the boats at Roseau, and when I read the inscription thanking French to what they have done. I was also happy to visit with Mr. Honorable Minister of Agriculture a very old project of cooperation for Fisher village in front of Marie-Galante in Guadeloupe in France, village that took benefit of French cooperation. As I told to you, Mr. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, France may repair also this jetty, which is in bad shape now, that could develop better the touristic exchanges with Guadeloupe. And of course, how could we not mention our indefatigable ties on the field of education field with the Alliance Française and French language also, in the field also of security and health, thanks to the proximity of your sister islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe. However, this road is an extraordinary example of a structural project between our two countries, and that's why the French Agency of Development, who works only on investment projects for the economy of the countries, agreed to do it. This is a main road for access tourists in the island, and it is also an important access to the rural communities and many ecotourism sites in the center of the island, who made Dominica famous in all the world. I want to thank very much our most important partner in development, the French Agency of Development, of course, but I thank also the General Council of Martinique, who assessed and addressed many technical problems. Finally also, I must thank the companies who worked on this big project, and especially French enterprise from Guadeloupe. This is also a great interest of this issue, the cooperation between our French overseas territories and the neighbor islands like Dominica. Thanks to them, thanks to everybody, and thanks also, Mr. Prime Minister, for what you did personally, and your government, and the President, and all the governments of Dominica since 10 years. Because, you know, I am used to projects of cooperation, but sometimes we are alone. We give something and we are alone. You decided when you saw this road was bad, you didn't wait for France to help you. You said for the 9 million euros, it's you decided by your own, and it's very difficult to do. Thanks to you, it's a real project of cooperation. And I thank, of course, I want also to say, to finish, that I hope I will come back here in a few years. I don't know if I will be there again. But about the project of geothermy, which will offer the energy independence to Dominica around 2017, I hope, for the first factory, and will permit also to give energy to our two islands of Guadeloupe and Martinique, thanks to the pipeline which will be built within about a few years, 5 years maybe. It means that 100% of the energy will be in Dominica. You will be independent for the energy, and you'll have a sustainable energy, which is, I think, the first country in the world. Small country, but the first in the world. And then for France, it's the same, because Guadeloupe and Martinique, it will be the first time that we have a region no dependent of nothing else than their own energy for 40%, which is very, very, very important. And that is, for me, emblematic realization in the field of sustainable development. While France will organize in November 2015 a great conference about climate change, no doubt that this project will be mentioned as an example, like other projects we did in this marvelous island. Thank you very much, everybody, for your attention, and apologize for my approximative English.